Well, all right, guys, we are here. It has been a long time coming, and we are here. Oh, my goodness gracious. I have so much stuff that I want to talk about. I have so much that I want to get off my chest. Admittedly, I am still very emotional about this film. I do plan on seeing it a second time. I do plan on seeing it a third time, just to make sure that my feelings, my emotions are valid or invalid. I saw this Monday night. I planned on doing my review right afterwards, but I was like, no, this is just too much. I need to sleep on this. So now I'm recording this Tuesday morning, and I'm still very conflicted. Let's talk about it, guys. Non-spoilers. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie review. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. All right, guys. So like I said, man, we are here, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. This was one of my most anticipated films to be released this year. I was pretty excited about it, but at the same time, I was very, very scared. And of course, if most of you know, this is being directed by Mr. Ryan Coogler. Have a lot of respect for this man. He is one of my favorite directors in the game. Did Fruitvale Station, he did Creed, he did Black Panther 1, and he is now doing Black Panther 2. Now, if this is your first time finding me, I imagine that you will not know what my expectations were. When it was announced December of 2020 that they were not going to be recasting Chadwick Boseman, I was disappointed. I did a live with Eman, Larry, and Sharronda with Pay a Wait. We talked the day afterwards for at least 2 hours. And my thing at the time was, hey, just please don't kill the character. I still want to see T'Challa. And a lot of people have been giving, not everybody, but a lot of people have been giving me heat about that, just that it's disrespectful. You don't know what you're talking about. The family did not want that, which is untrue. Chadwick Boseman's brother, Derek Boseman, has spoken out against the idea of retiring the character of T'Challa rather than recasting. He believes that his brother wouldn't have been so egotistical as to wanting the character to die with him and would instead want the character's journey to continue. So going into this film, I don't want to go down the whole rabbit hole of the recast T'Challa movement, which I do support. I can talk about that later and in my full spoiler reviews that's going to be coming out. I'm just saying that right now so you can get a taste of my expectations before you get my opinion on the movie. On top of that, guys, I did not go into this movie expecting T'Challa to pop up in any form, any shape, any capacity. I think that it is a fool's errand. I think that's just unrealistic. And so I was not thinking that at all. Like, I hope T'Challa pops up at the end. I was just going in just saying, okay, do not write yourself into a corner saying that the character T'Challa will never appear in the MCU ever again. That was just my main concern. But before the film was releasing, I just got high hopes. I'm like, hey, this is Wakanda Forever. I got faith in Ryan. It may not be exactly what I want, but I think he is still going to deliver a great picture, a great film that most people can still enjoy. And guys, I want to make sure you understand that I am going to see this film multiple times. At the time of this recording, I've only seen it once. I'm going to see it a second time on Wednesday, and a third time I do have tickets purchased for Thursday at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. because the film is about 2 hours and 41 minutes. If you include trailers in that, people that are seeing it 3 p.m., I'm going to have some form of a spoiler review uploaded on YouTube at 6 p.m. CST this coming Thursday. So as soon as you leave the theater, you can go to my channel, subscribe if you haven't. You can go to my channel and you can check out all the spoilers that we have to discuss because you're going to want to talk about them. You're going to want to have to hear someone else's thoughts, whether that's going to be by myself. It may be with Eman and Elliot with Movie Files. And so if you like those guys, we do this all the time. I'm going to try to get that out at 6 p.m. Whether they're involved or not, it's going to be a spoiler review at that time. And I also want to let you know this Saturday, November the 12th at 4 p.m. CST. I'm going to be going live on my channel as well. This may be part 3 of a spoiler discussion. I already have confirmed with Kimberly in Southern California. What's good, Kimberly? She will be coming through to grace us with her presence. She saw my out of theater reaction that I did post on my channel last night, and she sent me a DM just like, "Oh, Brandon, I saw your fresh out of theater reaction, and don't tell me anything, but I'm really curious to what you have to say." Got my boy Malcolm right there, and so yeah, guys, if you want to see me talk about this in spoiler form, Saturday, and it's gonna go down. It's gonna go down. It's gonna go down. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out all that. But before I go any further, before I get into all the nitty gritty and all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this film is all about. Queen Ramonda, Shuri, M'Baku, Okoye, and the Dora Milaje fight to protect the kingdom of Wakanda from intervening world powers in the wake of King T'Challa's death. As the Wakandans strive to embrace their next chapter, the heroes must band together with the help of War Dog Nakia and Everett Ross and forge a new path for their nation. All right, guys, so let's start with some of the things that I really did like in this film that I thought worked very, very well. And this was to be expected. I didn't think anyone would have a surprise if this did come through, but they did a great job in the first film, and they did an even better job in the second film, and that goes to the music by Ludwig Göransson. He was part of that leading team in the first film, and he is part of the leading team in the second film, and it's fire. I love the soundtrack. I love the score. It was its own standout moments a number of times in this film, so I was like, ooh, I like that beat. I like that melody. Please keep coming through with that energy. I love it. I love it. I love it. Second, y'all, this film just looks beautiful to look at. I mean, the set designs are dope as hell. I mean, I loved it. It's beautiful. I mean, if you just don't want to listen to anything and you just want to press play, leave this movie on mute when you have the convenience to watch it at home, you'll still have a good time just looking at all the visuals. And not just that, with the set designs and the production, the wardrobe as well by Ruth E. Carter. Man, she killed it in the first film, and she did even better this second time around. If you had these costumes on sale, Marvel, Disney will be sending people all across the world into credit card debt because they will be buying all of these costumes from head to toe. At least I know I would. I mean, seriously, I would turn into a cosplayer like that, and I've never done it before. The costumes in this film were badass. They were really authentic. You can tell the amount of detail that was put in each thread, and it popped on that IMAX screen. And yes, I did say IMAX. There are a lot of sequences in this film that did switch over to the IMAX ratio. So if that is your type of thing right there, you won't be disappointed. Please see this film on the largest screen possible. Also, something that I loved about this movie is the upgrade of technology with Wakanda. And when we did see Wakanda, when they're in some type of ship or flying device, flying over the mountains, over the horizon, and you're getting a view of the city, of the country, it looks nice. We do get different points of view than we did in the first film. And when I'm seeing this for the first time in this movie, I'm saying to myself, man, I just want to see more of this. I cannot wait till we get that Wakanda television Disney Plus series that they announced a number of years ago. If that's still going on, I really haven't heard anything in a few years, but I hope it is because of all the teases we got in this film. And not only does it look good, like I said, the upgrade of technology, whether it's a communication device, listening device, video device, or spy surveillance. I liked all of that. I thought it was really creative, and it really does stretch the imagination on what's possible with technology today in the modern world. And yes, I know it's a country filled with vibranium, but I'm having fun over here. All right, now let's talk about these characters, and some do outshine others, but I do have favorites. That is Shuri, Queen Ramonda, and Okoye. All three of these women do a phenomenal job. I mean, they really stepped up to the plate. Shuri has every reason to be frustrated. She has every reason to be upset in this film. And I was really resonating with her and her attitude and the way that she was carrying herself. I liked the conversations, for the most part, that she was having with her mother, the Queen Ramonda. And I was trying to put myself in her shoes, saying to myself, I will probably react the same way if I was in her position. She was doing the best that she possibly could throughout this whole film, and she was nice on the eyes as well. I loved her hair. I loved her costumes. Pretty much liked everything about Shuri. in this film. I mean, she really did step it up, as well as Okoye. And for some reason, this is a character that I take more seriously, but there was bits of comedy that was infused in her character in this film that may or may not have been there in the first. I cannot remember right now off the top of my head, but I remember liking her as well. And when it got to the action, oh yes, that woman was working that spear like a mug, and I was blown away. And some of the points, I can't even talk. At one point, I was the most loud, the most audible in the theater, saying, "Oh, shh!" I don't want to cuss too much in this video, but I was like, I cussed in the movie theater because I was blown away. There is a fight that she has on a bridge, and she gave it her all, and I like it. I like it, man. If I could get a woman that is as strong as that would be a power couple. You know what I'm saying, ladies? If you out there and you single and you know how to work a bow staff like Okoye in this movie, slide in my DMs. I'm not joking. I'm serious. But no, Okoye was cool in this movie. I liked her, and she really did step up the action. Not the action, the acting. And I will say, seriously, I'm trying to think about it. Off the top of my head, I think Black Panther is the best, or the Black Panther Wakanda Forever, or maybe the first, just both, the whole Black Panther lore in the MCU. It may be the best in the MCU as far as performances and acting. You know, now I don't want to go as far as saying that, you know, she was competing with Daniel Detweiler, and I don't mean to mix that film in this one, but her performance is so well. It's not as good as that, but it's still damn good in this scene. You know, Okoye had in the middle a point where she was emoting. She was hurt. You know, she kind of felt betrayed. And I like the emotion that she put on screen. No, betrayed is not the right word to use, but I'll just say that she was emotional. And I was saying to myself, like, dang, that's what's up right there. But the MVP in this film, as far as my favorite character, it has to go to Angela Bassett, Queen Ramonda. Ooh, y'all, when she made her entrance in this movie, it sent chills down my spine. My goodness gracious. Like, if you Google Black woman, have a picture of Angela Bassett there, biggest day. Wow. I mean, she was, yeah, you, I'm not trying to, you know, sound ridiculous or nothing like that, but I'm just saying, man, that was a powerful woman in this movie. Good. I mean, just, I'm lost for words. I can't even articulate myself right now, but I was liking it, man. She had the best acting, the best performance, the best presence. When she was in that conference room with the United Nations, oh God, just so much authority and confidence, like not a worry in the world. But it was no ego to it. It was no pride. It was just, she was just standing in her ish. And it was lovely. It was breathtaking. I loved it. Now, let's talk about Talokan, or the Talokans and Namor and all of them. Of course, they are not called the Atlanteans or Atlantis like in the comics, like in the cartoons and every other previous iterations. And that is kind of a bummer to me, but it's still cool. Namor, let me save Namor for a second. Let me just talk about the Talokans in general. They know how to make an entrance. They do. When they first popped on the scene, I was like, oh, damn. All right, they seem like they finna get on the scene right here and just make their debut, and they made their debut. I was saying to myself, wow, you know, this is a group of people right here that's a force to be reckoned with. They not playing. Wakanda does have a worthy adversary that they're going to have to go against, and I don't know who's going to win. I don't know who's going to come out on top with their abilities and powers and all of technology and all that. I was like, damn. And again, they know how to make an entrance because they made powerful entrance more than one. And I will say, your boy Atuma was serious. Atuma was badass. Atuma can throw down. Atuma can box. I want more of Atuma. It was nice. I did like Atuma. I liked them all, and there were, you know, his action scene where he was fighting against another character. I was not disappointed in the least bit. I was very satisfied with how they depicted that. The way they showed how the Talokans fought the first time, it was nice. It was the Talokans looked nice, and also the Wakandas. I don't want to be specific and tell you exactly who was fighting who, but that was a highlight in the film right there, to where I was really thoroughly entertained. And also Namor, Tanakh Hirata. Yes, this guy right here, he looks strong. I like his presence. I like his introduction into the film as well. He is not a force to be reckoned with either. I liked him. I liked like this accent. It was very thick. I have somewhat of a criticism about it, and I will get to that later on in this review. But I liked him for the most part. He was strong. I liked the way he moved. The wings on his feet worked really well. It wasn't corny. It didn't look fake. They was able to sell the weight as well with him flying through the air. Like, it didn't seem like it wasn't a fake. It seemed real. It didn't seem like he was on some type of rope or harness. I mean, they did a really good job of showing him float out of the water and fly around and change directions and hover. It looked badass. It looked threatening. You know, it looked strong. And so I did like Namor, the way he looked and how powerful he was. That was quite nice as well. And also just one point in this film, like the very beginning, just showing how strong Wakanda was to its senses, showing them flexing. I'm not gonna lie, it made me feel good, especially as a black person. I mean, it just did. A big group of people, just strong and united on one or multiple fronts. It was empowering, and it was very, very uplifting. And I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot, and I think a lot of other people will. And you see this in the trailer. There is a character in a Black Panther suit. Of course, I'm not going to tell you who the character was, but I liked the way this character came to be. I liked the entrance. It made sense. It made sense. And also, last thing on the good, the positive in this film, there are a couple of story points that followed over from the first film. I liked them for the most part. I did. When they were having these scenes of dialogue, discussing those events, I was watching the film, saying to myself, okay, I like that. I like how they brought that back around, stuck it around. So that's cool right there. But that is going to conclude the things that I did like about the movie. Now let me talk about some things that I didn't work so well for me, that I did not like, or that I thought was absolutely atrocious. And guys, let's just go ahead and get the elephant out of the way. Again, I did my fresh out of theater reaction last night. And as you saw, I said that I was very disappointed with this movie. I also said that I was conflicted and very frustrated, I believe. And a number of people was like, oh, you just mad because they didn't recast T'Challa. They didn't recast T'Challa. I said that I was upset last night and very shocked. Those reasons why I feel that way have absolutely nothing to do with the passing of Chadwick Boseman and how they handled it in this film. To be honest with you, that is one of my least concerns with the way they handled Chadwick Boseman. But let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Of course, Chadwick Boseman is not here with us anymore. Rest in peace, my brother. We love you. We miss you. My only criticism that I have with the way they handled that is I thought it was rushed. I thought it was too quick. I thought they kind of brushed over it. I was just kind of saying to myself, really? Is that it? I thought we was going to spend more time on this, and I kind of wanted them to. And and that's not why I'm shocked. I'm just shocked that we didn't spend more time on it. Now, I'm not saying the way they addressed it was bad. Me personally, creatively, would I have come up with a different way to handle it, to address it? Yes. I do feel that it was a little too close to home, too close to real life. Now, for me personally, I was not emotional. I did not cry. And if you do, I mean, that's fine, you know. But just for me, I thought I was going to have to bring the tissue. I wasn't emoting at all. There was other stuff that had to do with this film that bothered me, that does make me want to emote, but it wasn't the way they handled Chadwick Boseman. Again, I said in my pregame and my out of theater reaction that I was expected to not get what I wanted as far as that's concerned. And I did not get what I wanted, but you know, it is what it is. I'm gonna have to move on and live on. But I just feel like we should have spent more time there. I feel like it was rushed. And I'll just say this. It would have been better if one particular depiction was in a different part of the film. I'm not mad that they included it. I just don't like where they placed it. I think where they placed it was a bad idea. If they would have took that same sequence and put it in a different spot, it would have worked out much better. But I was saying to myself, why would you put that here at this point? So again, they addressed the passing of Chadwick Boseman. You know, I would have handled it differently. I would have handled it differently. I just feel that we should have spent more time there. I feel like it was just a bit brushed over. I said I'm gonna have to see this multiple times because I'm talking about this in my bad section, and this comes to the character of Nakia, played by Lupita Nyong'o. I love Lupita. Fantastic actress. She's one of my favorites right now. When I first got out of the film, I was like, I don't like Nakia. I felt that she was selfish and was only thinking about herself. But when I went to sleep and woke up this morning, I had a complete 180, and they're like, whoa, wait a minute, Brandon, given her circumstances, this is her only options. And so I had to take it back. I still don't know how I feel about her character at this point in time. I'm just going to have to reserve my feelings and see how I feel after I see it a second or third time, but I'm on the fence right now. And that's also the same with Reviewz Williams, played by Dominique Thorne. Yeah, I don't like her character, but I don't hate her character either. I'm just on the fence with her. After, she didn't do a bad job, but I'm not blown away either. After seeing her in this film, it doesn't get me excited to see the Disney Plus show Ironheart. I'm not dreading it. I'm not like, oh, I don't want to see it, but I'm just not excited. You know, like going, I'm like, oh, we're going to get an introduction to Reviewz Williams, Ironheart in this movie. That's going to make everybody excited and want to sign up for Disney Plus to see Ironheart when that come out. That's not how I'm feeling right now. Other people may like her. I mean, it's a little too jokey at times. I like her hustle, you know, as far as her being able to get stuff done and her drive and work ethic. I mean, she's going to do what she has to do. You know what I'm saying? And if, you know, she's served an injustice, she's going to go correct it. I like that about her character. I'm just not in love with her character. And you know, another thing is, I don't feel like she should have been in this movie. I feel like it was a wasted opportunity to introduce her to the MCU. And it could have been much better in another way. And I will talk about that in just a second. Now I'm gonna talk about it now. One of the biggest sins in this movie, or they dropped the ball, is this movie is called Wakanda Forever. And so with my expectations, I was going into this film thinking that we was going to see a lot of Wakanda. And we did not. We didn't. Now, I forgot to leave this part out of the good section, and because this was one of the best parts in the film. Let me just transition back over, because there's parts that I like about it and parts I don't. Parts of the film that I like the most is when all of the tribes, all of the different tribes of Wakanda were coming together in the throne room to try to solve a problem, to try to resolve an issue. That was beautiful. I loved it. My only criticism is that it should have been much more of it, and it wasn't. It was brief, and there was other elements in this film that crowded that development that we should have got, which is Reviewz Williams, which is also Michaela Cole. She is a new character in this film. A lot of people were excited about her being in this movie, but they got into the way of other characters and other development that really makes me upset. It got into the way of Wakanda. I wanted to see more Wakanda in this film, and we didn't get it. We got different glimpses of it, different shots, different perspectives, but I don't know at this point in time how big Wakanda is. What is the population? You know, what are the politics? What are the economics? I want to know that, and I feel that, especially with the death of Chadwick Boseman, that you could have took advantage of that, because there is no T'Challa, there is really no Black Panther. So we should be able to see how the whole country, how all of the leaders of all the tribes are responding to this loss of leadership. And I really feel like that is a missed opportunity. Now, in my good section, I spoke on how I loved Queen Ramonda, Okoye, and Shuri. The women do shine magnificently in this film. The bad part about it is it causes the males to take a back seat. That is really disappointing. We already don't have T'Challa in this film, the main male. And Wakabi, Daniel Kaluuya, is not part of this film at all because of a scheduling conflict with Nope. But then you have Winston Duke, the leader of the Japari tribe. He is in this film, but guys, he should have been in this movie so much more. I do not understand why he did not get so much screen time. He took a back seat, and that is very disappointing, because there's an article right here. I have this from comingsoon.net. Winston Duke to have expanded role in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. The report notes that Duke, who plays M'Baku in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has negotiated a hefty raise for his return to the highly anticipated sequel. The report also mentions that Duke has been given an expanded role in the film and Black Panther lore, but it's currently unclear what exactly that role is. Guys, I got to be honest with you, this is completely false. I don't know why they said this. This came out January of 2022. It could have been so easy, layup easy, tic-tac-toe, 1 + 1, 2 + 2 easy to include this in the film. All he had to do was join another group of characters on the adventure. But no, now when M'Baku did show up, he showed up. He necessarily didn't show out, but he did give effort. And I don't like at the same time, I hate this when Marvel does this in their movies where they combine comedic, goofy stuff in the action, and that kind of had to do with M'Baku. I'm not saying that he was weak and he got punched and was like, oh my God. Well, now that I think about it, look, I'm really disappointed with the lack of involvement that M'Baku was in this movie. Again, look, you can only use what you work with. I mean, what you have. I'm not saying that they should have created just some male character that nobody has ever seen before. But it really frustrates me that you put the men in the back seat, but you introduce 2 more new female characters. Why introduce 2 new female characters and not give them that much development when you could have already established another character more than we've already had in the past? And I say, like, again, Queen Ramonda, Okoye, and Shuri was fire in this. And then Nakia, I'm on the fence. And the film should have just focused on those 4 women and also put M'Baku right there, same amount of screen time, same amount of effort. But no, he was shafted because you want to introduce Michaela Cole and Riri Williams. Again, I'm not saying that Michaela Cole and Riri Williams did a bad job. They did not do a bad job. They did a good job, but you're substituting. If you was going to include them in this film that wasn't in the first, M'Baku should have been there right next to them. Same amount of energy, screen time, representation, all that. And it was just a missed opportunity. So I'm just saying, like, and with that, and people talk in my comment section talking about the manosphere, comments and ideas and all this. Marvel, Disney, y'all are giving people ammunition to not enjoy this film. Before I saw this, when I'm seeing all of them talk on social media, I was ignoring them. They talking about MCU and there's an agenda and all of this, and I was just like, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna get into all that. But I will say this though, y'all, you giving them ammunition. So I don't know why you would want to do that, but you're giving them ammunition, in my opinion. The men should have been much more prominent in this film. I'm not saying that they made them look like fairies. They just should have been more prominent, and could have been so much. It was easy to do it. It was been easy to do it. Also, something that I didn't like is Namor's motivation was extremely weak to me. Bro, you getting mad at people for doing something to you. What do you expect when you just did what you did? Okay, like another thing about this is, I don't like the fact that, well, I can't say that's a spoiler. That's a big spoiler. So I gotta, I almost made a big spoiler. Yeah, I'll have to talk about that in my spoiler review. But again, Namor's motivation was weak. I didn't believe it. I understand his concern. I understand his questioning certain characters at the very beginning of the film. Like, hey, this is a concern of mine. We need to talk about this. We need to come to some resolution. But the conclusion that he came to was foolish to me. I'm just like, bro, what are you thinking? Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And I also feel like Talocan was wasted in his introduction. I'm now going to compare this film, Wakanda Forever, to another popular film in the MCU, that is Captain America Civil War, because there are similarities from both of those films of how they tried to include a bunch of characters into one narrative and whether it can work or not. Now, before I say that, if Marvel were to give me the all creative control, I would not introduce characters in other people's franchises. Me personally, I would want to have every new character have their own origin story and have as many origin and solo films as you possibly can for each character in the whole Marvel encyclopedia, even from a business sense, to make more money. So when Captain America Civil War came out and they said that they're going to be including T'Challa in that film and also Peter Parker, Spider-Man, I was a bit disappointed. Like, wait a minute, you already have all these other characters. You're going to be introducing 2 new characters in this film at the same time. It's going to be ruined. It's going to be, too compacted, and not everybody is going to get the right amount of screen time and development. I ended up being 100% wrong in that assessment. The way they executed that, I thought was absolutely perfect. the way they tried to do that in Wakanda Forever hurt the film, in my opinion. You already have the death of Chadwick Boseman that we have to deal with and address, and the way that Wakanda is going to respond and lead itself, and also how the world is going to respond to Chadwick Boseman's death, and also the announcement that they have vibranium, and we know how money hungry and power hungry a lot of these world powers are. But then on top of that, when you try to introduce Riri Williams into this, Michaela Cole's character, and also the whole nation of Talokan, that's too much. While I did enjoy the stuff with Talokan, I wanted more of it. And so I say that to say, if it was up to me creatively, I would not have had the whole Talokan Namor in this movie. It would have just been solely Wakanda, just to focus that, because while we're getting so much of Talokan, that is taking the place of the development of Wakanda and like what each tribe means and what's important to them and their culture and how they feel about the king when he was here and now that he's not here, how they feel about Queen Ramonda taking over and Shuri doing her thing with the technology. We didn't get any of that development in Wakanda because it was substituted with Talokan. I would have wished that that Namor could have had his own separate movie, and then Wakanda Forever could have been his own thing, and then at a later time it comes together. But because you're just trying to cram in so much, things just did not get that much development, and that's just very, very unfortunate to me. It knocks the wind out of me, to be honest. Now, while Ryan Coogler was making his press rounds, he did talk to Inverse about what the original script would have been. And he was just talking about how grief was a big part of it, and the tone didn't necessarily shift too much. And that, Chadwick Boseman's character, T'Challa, would have been mourning the 5-year passing. I still feel like they should have included that in this film. And I just feel like it was a missed opportunity because they didn't. I mean, there was also just more that I wanted to see with Namor's story and his origin, and I just kind of feel like it was brushed over. Now, I know that Disney Marvel may not have the distribution rights to the character of Namor. I know they have the production rights, kind of like how it's with the Incredible Hulk franchise. Now, guys, the thing that just upset me the most in this movie was a creative decision. I cannot talk about it without spoiling it, but I just feel like this was crazy and they did not think it through. At this point in time, I still cannot find, the only valid reason I can come up with why they would do this is I would have to spoil the film. So make sure you subscribe and come back for this live. But there was a creative decision or two that I'm just appalled. I cannot believe that they would make this decision. It infuriated me. And it has nothing to do with the death of Chadwick Boseman. But I am upset. I am shocked and flabbergasted. It's just like, how emotional we are about this movie already. So for you to... I just don't understand this. Marvel, why would you make this decision? It pretty much ruined the movie for me. I was not able to focus after this event, after this took place. And it really bothered me. Also, guys, there is a mid-credit scene. I did not like the mid-credit scene at all. There was nothing that I liked about it at all. I didn't like it. There is no post-credit scene, or at least they told you that it wasn't. I screened and it was like, I promise you, there's no post-credit scene. Before the movie started, I planned on waiting just to see, because I wanted to enjoy the credits. I wanted to listen to the music. Now, as soon as that mid-credit scene was over with, guys, I got up and left the theater and went to the restroom frustrated. This movie is going to be very divisive, in my opinion. I don't know if people will be able to see this repeatedly like they would have the first movie or any other Marvel movie, because of just some of the creative differences. And I am kind of shocked at who made these decisions. Ryan Coogler, cast and crew, everybody involved. I know this was extremely difficult for you to do. And thank you so much, because, you had to make this film under horrible circumstances just to entertain us people. And so I appreciate it. I don't hate any of you. I thank you for all of your hard work. But this was a miss for me. I'm very disappointed with this movie. I'm not saying that the movie was horrible, but I'm just extremely disappointed. And I'm still emotional, guys, as you can see. I'm still emotional about this film, and I'm going to have to see it more than once, because I may be tripping right now. And I feel like there's so much more I want to say, but I'm forgetting at the same time, and I got a whole page of notes right here as well. As far as a rating is concerned, I'll talk about that at the very end of this review. I feel like it's all over the place, and I'm sorry. But for now, guys, that is just my opinion, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy this video, please give me the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Trying to reach 50,000 subscribers as soon as I can. If you do subscribe to my channel, you're going to get movie reviews, spoiler movie reviews, talking about that Black Panther Wakanda Forever, series reviews, a weekly movie news roundup show, going to be talking about the box office this weekend, and also just shows that are streaming right now that I cover, like Atlanta Season 4, Love is Blind, got some trailer reactions and all that good stuff right there. As far as a rating for this movie, guys, I can't give you a rating right now. It's constantly shifting from a 4 out of 10 all the way up to maybe like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. And it's going every 15, 20 minutes, it's going back and forth. So I have to see this film again because I'm emotional right now. I gotta clear my head. But yeah, this was as of now, I am disappointed. I am disappointed. I'm not saying that the movie sucks, but I just feel like this movie is going to be extremely, extremely divisive. I really do. Guys, again, please make sure you come back. Spoiler review this Saturday, 4 p.m. CST. That's enough time for everybody to, a good amount of people to see it and engage with the crew. But I think 6 p.m. CST, right when you get out the theater, those early people, we're going to have a spoiler review. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about this creative decision or decisions too. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget, my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.